back again to my YouTube channel, guys. I'm so sorry for abandoning this channel for so long. I think it's been like 6-7 months. I'm really sorry, guys. It's not my fault. But your girl is back now. I'm fully back, and I promise you guys to be posting content once in a week by God's grace. By God's grace. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be telling you guys the reason why I've been away, and also story time of how I almost cancelled my wedding in July. But before we get started, if you're new here, you are welcome. My name is Rebecca, and please do not forget to click on the subscribe button. Guys, let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers this year. I believe we can do that. So click on the subscribe button if you are yet to do so. So guys, my wedding was ending of July, and the first week of August I and my hubby, we had to travel for our honeymoon. When we got back, we had to arrange the house, set up things, because we just moved into the house newly, so we had to do some setting up and cleaning and all of that. And a week after, my parents came into Malaysia. So my parents were here, my sister was here, and some few other people were here in the house with us. So throughout the month of August, I was entertaining my visitors, my parents. So we're going from one place to another. I didn't even have the time to vlog. It was that bad, because when I wake up in the morning, I have to think of what they will eat, I have to think of where to take them to and all those things. So I had no time in August. And then in September, they left ending of August, and in September, when I was supposed to now relax from the stress of traveling, from the stress of wedding, from the stress of entertaining visitors, and some other few things, that was when I resumed work. I resumed work in September, so I had no time to vlog, I had no time to record, I had no time for anything. And of course, because I just resumed a new section, I need to get so many things in order, so many new things to start doing and all of that. So I was like, September was like a no for me. November also, September, October also was a no for me. So I was more focused on work. And the funny thing is, work was now really hectic at that point. Even when I was doing two postgraduate programs together at the same time, and I was working full-time, it was not as bad as that. But then I was not doing anything. I deferred my studies then, that semester, yeah. I deferred my study, and I was only working. So I didn't expect the stress to be that much. However, the stress was really crazy, and I guess it affected me. And around November, I fell sick. Of course, I needed to recover. I recovered towards December, and towards December was when we were to like round up the semester. So there was no time also for me to do anything, and we only had 2 weeks break. So January, ending of January again, I fell sick, and I was like, you know what? Although I tried to record video, I recorded like 2-3 videos, but I was just saying nonsense in that video. Like, my mind was not there. Everything was just here and there. I'm like, I'm not going to post this kind of video on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, let me just give myself time to get better, and just, you know, that was when we even resumed a new semester again. So I was like, I need time to relax from the stress of wedding, from work. Let me get back into the work routine. And that was the reason, or that is the reason why I had to abandon YouTube for a long time. I'm so sorry, guys, but we are back here now. So let me get straight into the story of why I almost cancelled my wedding. Why did I almost cancel my wedding? The first reason is I wanted my parents to be here on that day, and the second reason was because of my visa. Now, fast forward to, let's rewind back to January 2021. My workplace applied for my working permit. I was using my PhD study visa, so they wanted me to change to my working permit, which was very good. and I submitted the document and everything. Then in July, I planned my wedding to be in July because I know we're going to have holiday throughout July and then August. So if we're going to have enough time to run around early July, and then August will have enough time to relax and spend with each other before we resume back fully to work. So that was my plan. However, God, let me say, God was planning his own thing also. So around March, we had our traditional wedding, and normally, in church, after it has been announced that, okay, these people have done their traditional wedding, they're expecting dates for the white wedding, and we couldn't give them dates because normally for me, I don't like, I give a date and then people start asking questions, calling me, talking to me, like it feels like pressure to me. So I wanted to give them dates close to the wedding. So like maybe when it's 2 months or 1.5 months to the wedding, that was our plan. So around May, I and my hubby finally decided, okay, we finally decided on the exact date for the wedding, and towards ending of May, the third week of May, we decided to tell the church the date. So we told the church the date, and the church announced. Can you imagine that a week after the announcement, which was the last week of May, my office called me and I was told that I needed to cancel my visa. Yes, I needed to cancel my visa, which was fine. I canceled my visa, and then the next thing is I needed to check out of the country. Guys, if you know what that means I'm going to cancel my PhD visa. So if I cancel my PhD visa, I need to go back home and apply from Nigeria before I'm able to come in. And this thing, like we've seen scenario whereby it's someone leaves the country, cancel their visa, and then they end up not getting the visa, and then they're stuck outside Malaysia. So I'm like, what kind of thing is this? Wedding is coming up. If I had known this, I wouldn't have announced the date. There's a difference. I don't know, maybe it's only in my culture or it happens in other culture. When you announce dates for something to happen and it does not happen, it's like a bad omen, it's like a bad omen in my country. So I didn't want that kind of scenario happening to me, and this was very important to me. Not only about the wedding, like me checking out of Malaysia at that point was not something I had planned. So imagine I have wedding, I have given people dates, I haven't printed Ivy then. So I was told I needed to check out, and my brain nearly exploded. Like, it was the last week of May, so I only had June and few weeks, like 2 weeks in July, to get back. And sometimes the process can take of getting visa in Nigeria can take 2 months, 3 months. So I asked questions at my workplace. I was told minimum it takes 2 weeks after I check out for the document I'm waiting for to get to me, and then I would go to my embassy, which is supposed to take 1 week as usual, take 1 week, it took 2 weeks. So that is 1 month. So I calculated everything that, okay, if I can just get all these things done within 1 month, it's still okay, and at least I can get back a few weeks before my wedding. But at the same time, I was so scared. And that was the point I started considering, should we cancel the wedding or should we change the date? But I didn't want to do that. I was just praying that everything goes well. So immediately I was told that I booked my tickets, very expensive. I flew out and I got to Nigeria. Thank God, though Nigeria also came with its own blah blah blah. Like my luggage did not arrive. It took almost 1 week. I had to go buy clothes and get some other stuff. Thank God my documents were in my bag. If not, it would have been a disaster. So the week I arrived in Nigeria, thankful to God, I got the document I was waiting for. I was even shocked. I was surprised because my uncle also worked in this. He has worked in this department before. I asked him, how long does it take? He said minimum 2 weeks. So for the document to get to me in less than 1 week, it means God was working. And then someone now told me that he dreamt that I had problem with visa at the Malaysia embassy in Nigeria. I'm like, hey, Jesus is Lord. What is this? What did I put myself into? I mean, if I had known this like way before that May, would have done the wedding early. Like, would have done it around May, June, January, February, March, maybe like April, and would have gotten some document that even if I end up traveling back to Nigeria, I can apply to come in with my hobbies PhD visa. But I mean, this information didn't come in early and it was too late, so I had to check out. Now, when I got to Nigeria, I submitted my document immediately and I was expecting everything to come out within 1 week, and it didn't come out. At that point, I started panicking. Trust me, guys. I started going to, no, of course, I mean, I don't stay in Abuja, so I was skeptical about moving around in that environment, but I had no choice. So there's one church I usually watch online. I had to start going to that church, and I was, praising God, doing all sorts of things, and I was praying. I pitied my husband that period because it was exhausted. It was exhausted. But thankfully, after 1 week more, even at that embassy, they were tired of me because I was always going every day. And they had told me when to come, but I would go before then. So they were like, they don't want to see me until that date. Anyways, I went to the embassy on that day, and I got there. They were calling names of those that were supposed to take their visa. The man called my name. He looked at me. He looked at my visa. Looked at my visa and said, wait. I said, what happened? I'm in trouble today. Then I started remembering the dream someone told me. I'm like, hey, I hope this is not the problem. I was just processing all sorts. And by the time the guy finished, he gave someone my passport to go inside. He went inside and then come back again with my passport. And then he told me, he said, do you know that if you had traveled with this visa, they would have deported you at the airport? I'm like, really? He was like, you're very lucky I saw this mistake, else they would have deported you. So I'm like, thank God. Then immediately that day, I got to where I was staying. I booked my ticket back to Lagos. I went to get clothes for my reception and all of that. Now it was now time to purchase tickets for myself, and then ticket was now 1 point something million. Like, let me count it, times 5 of the amount I paid when I was traveling into Nigeria. I'm like, what? And I think that was because of the Russian and what's that country that had fighting at that period. So the ticket fare just like went up, and I'm like, 1.3 million, 1.4 million. Who is going to pay that amount for tickets? So I had to wait extra week in Nigeria, thinking the ticket price will come down, but unfortunately it was going up. And also my parents couldn't get their visa. Guys, I cried. When I said I cried, I really cried. But at the same time, I was not really worried about my parents that much at that time. I spoke to my hobby. Like, then my family members started saying, since this is the problem, these are the problem, your parents are here to get the visa, your ticket fee is very expensive, why not just move the dates? And immediately I raised that issue with my hubby. He was like, hey, move what dates that we have. I mean, immediately I got the visa, I was like, okay, go ahead and print Hy-Vee, start giving people the Hy-Vee and all of that. So we had shared Hy-Vee and all of, so I was like, and then I was also considering that the fact that his parents are not going to be there. So if my parents are not there, it shouldn't be, I mean, at least it is equal. I shouldn't say because of my parents will not be there, so let's cancel wedding. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair to him. So I was like, okay, let's forget that. So I had no choice. I looked for money, booked my ticket, and went back. But immediately I landed the weekend before my wedding. So imagine, I had just few days to my wedding. I was still contemplating, should I cancel the wedding? Not cancel the wedding, move the date. I'm like, I started checking with my hubby. Is it possible to contact the all people to shift the dates, this and that? Even if they are going to change the dates, they will not get, will not be able to get a closer date, date that is close to the one we cancelled. So it might like be far away, which we cannot afford to really extend the date that long. And so much pressure. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what, let's just go ahead with this wedding. I have no choice, let's just go ahead. And then my parents called me like, don't worry, it's okay, go ahead. I cried, guys. When I said I cried for 2 nights, I was crying. I was stressed mentally, physically. I was totally down. Like, my sisters were like, move the date. My uncle moved the date. But anyways, guys, that's how I ended up not moving the date, which I'm so glad I didn't make that mistake. Or like, I didn't make that mistake to move the date, because everything went well. They were watching online, and I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted them to be in Malaysia is because I just wanted them to travel out of the country. And I mean, it was still possible, but it was just after the wedding. But we were able to do photo shoot with them, so which is very good. It still feels like they attended the wedding, so which is good. And that was how I did not cancel my wedding, nor did I move the dates from the date it's supposed to be. So anyways, guys, that's the story I want to share with you guys. This video is already like getting too long, so I'm going to end the video here now. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if I'm talking too long, but this is just how I'm able to narrate stories. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed again, please do not forget to click on the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up if you like the video. If there's any video you would want me to talk about or anything related to my wedding, please drop in the comment section. I will be there to read and see how we can go about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.